The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. Off the crank. "Did you know?" purred Weldyke's resident British short-haired cat, as I prepared to veer left off Riverside Road and dodge any voluntary victim of self-inebriation cast out amidst the shadows of Shoreham Beach's foremost intoxication station, flagging down the first publicly chartered chariot who'd be willing to accept double fare for a ride to their nearest kebab vendor before several litres of Campari and Coke could make an ungracious reappearance. Not even being on first-name terms with this unusually vocal feline thoroughbred, I was astounded by the claim it followed up with. "In analogous terms, the music by popular neoclassical folk artist Enya is to Richard Wagner's operatic masterpieces what a handful of cola cubes are to Turkish delight. Not any variety, mind, including that cheap chocolate jelly manufactured by the famous confectioner that's christened after a cooking process commonly associated with traditional English breakfasts. No, I'm talking about the proper stuff, perfectly soft yet irresistibly chewy, that tastes like edible roses and comes packed full of organic pistachio nuts, those freshly shrink-wrapped frost-dusted nuggets that any licensed round-the-clock convenience vendor will peddle to curbside crawling sugarcane addicts at uncivil hours. Assuming they're fresh out of their favourite flavoured water vapour, including Blueberry Crush, Bakewell Blast and Jasmine Jive, which Elf Bar will be discontinuing before the next new moon. I think we'll continue this one-sided conversation after my impromptu forage for dairy-free saltless butter and hand-macerated pecan nuts has concluded, I yelled back across Ferry Footbridge, just as the opening bars to Lohengrin's principal overture began massaging my ears. Until vibrations of an altogether more monotonic and visceral variety arrested my pacified senses. A haptic warning of imminent starvation from one of 3 meal-wheeling warlords who desired my kind service in the dead of a balmy summer's night to convey 2 provision-laden packages from Old Mac's motor-friendly fast food farm to Downside, one of at least a dozen roads between Shoreham and East Shoreham, partially christened by the word Down, and difficult even by daylight to distinguish from its suburban siblings. Weaved through the crowded parking lot of my pickup location, avoiding a mini tailback of orphaned pub crawlers seeking starchy sustenance to soak up their sins of the recent past. Then proceeded onto its autonomous drawbridge, which refused to grant me access on account that dine-in hours had long ended, and was eventually prized open by an obliging beige collar worker. The order's waybill read like a courtier's banquet. 1 double burger Khalifa, also known as a Big Mac, assembled from seedless soft-boiled buns, a pair of machine-minced fair-trade Frisian patties beneath frilly sheets of mayo-glazed lettuce, and an extra sprinkle of organic onion trimmings. Enough to make its accompanying quarter-pounder with sustainably pasteurised mature cheddar cheese turn fluorescent orange with juicy jealousy. Atop of this was a topless carton filled with 20 triple-fried poultry chunks awaiting their bittersweet baptism of hot chili sauce, which would be contentedly washed down by 2 litres of non-calorie Coke, provided those pesky threadless lids didn't work their way loose during the danger-fraught journey to my remote client. True to recent form, this special order wasn't listed on the Grub departure board, though the kitchen's adapted cake trolley was piled high with packed consignments, 2 of which were promptly handed over as I quoted my employer's numerical reference to the picker on duty. Scanned the printed ticket to confirm collection was complete, before placing my customer's perishable goods carefully in my giant shoulder holster, then hobbled outside, hopped back aboard my anchored steed, and rolled right out of the car park, only to be instantly blocked by one of my hometown's 2 level crossings. Hearing no sign of the midnight milk train over pulsating red signals, I scampered west, past the neighbouring barriers, which were also resolutely descended, then scuttle beneath South Down Road's railway bridge, hoping my evasive detour would ultimately win back precious time and preserve the critical degrees necessary to ensure my ravenous client's victuals remained mortally consumable. Reached the roundabout of Homebush Shopping Centre to find its eastern exit fenced off by a crew of maintenance workers, diligently attending to one damaged square yard of council-funded tarmac. Shuffled over a bike-exclusive shortcut to get back on the beaten bitumen, and reached downside Southern Junction with 5 minutes of my employer's estimated arrival time to spare, which proved comfortably sufficient to identify the correct bungalow in a coherently numbered street, and that its open front window or a side door were the only means of entry. I opted for the latter, and was greeted within seconds, thereby avoiding any potentially embarrassing attempts to fumble around for knockers and doorbells in the house's underlit drive. Expressed regrets for the delayed delivery, despite knowing I was still within the specified deadline, though my eager recipient was too preoccupied in obtaining the 2-digit verification code required for me to relinquish their protein-rich feast. 81, they exclaimed at last, as delivery was duly executed.